Hey guys, yeah, it's been one of those months. Oh, by the way, the vertical plane, I'm going to be taking a little pause until I know what I'm going to do because the new book came out. I would like to probably get one, compare it with the one that I have, and then start back up again. So I started to make a video the other day. Then I started experiencing some broader symptoms, so I want to make a more cohesive video about pandemic memory loss because that's what the news is calling it, and if the news is talking about it, then that means I'm allowed to talk about it. I did all this research into what the pandemic memory loss, brain fog, whatever. Basically, what the doctor cites in the article that I will link at the bottom is that short-term stress can be motivating and good for the body and mind, but long-term stress, like years-long worth of stress, coupled with the restrictions that were placed on us, dealing with all of that over such a long time has made us so stressed and anxious. That is what they're saying is the explanation for the brain fog / memory loss. The same article, Dr. Brian goes on to say that persistent stress, fear, and isolation paired with those restrictions also can turn into anxiety and depression, rates of which have risen. We've seen this lead to increased substance use and addiction, bring about disruptions in daily routine, changes in diet and nutrition, and a more sedentary lifestyle, which can lead to physical health problems and sleep disturbances. And it can cause people to spend more time in their homes than usual, which at first might be enjoyable, but it wears pretty thin. If you're a stranger to this cognitive decline, I can tell you what it feels like. It feels like, I know that thing. What is that thing? I'm right in mid-conversation. What's that thing? That thing. But your brain just can't fucking connect the dots. It's so frustrating. A lot of short-term memory loss, a lot of event boundaries, walking out of a room, walking into another room, forgot what I was gonna get. A lot of those kind of moments. And this is not just me, I'm just noticing it evenly increased in me and all the people around me. And this is regardless of whether you've had the sickness, whether all dealing with the psychological consequences of the state of what this pandemic put us in, basically. Because the way I feel lately has been kind of scary, and I am curious to see if other people have been feeling this way. I feel very fragmented, and that's something very new for me. I'm used to being pretty much integrated person, walking around, being me kind of all the time. I'm not one of those people that has a professional self, a family self. I'm pretty much me all the time. So when I have these moments where I don't feel like myself, it's almost like a flash. What am I doing? Where am I? It's like you almost forget where you are for a moment. And not to sound crazy, but just it feels like, and this is not what I think, this is just what it feels like. It feels like there's two Stephs, and one of them is at work, but it's missing some of the things that the other Steph has. That's what it feels like. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the only way that I can really explain it accurately. Actually, it doesn't sound crazy. I just needed time to make sense of it. It's like you're only half present. It's like the other half of you is asleep. So this could actually be interpreted as extreme fatigue. So I'm just Googled the brain fog, the memory loss, and I put fragmentation in the search bar this time. What came back was a lot of articles about this long COVID. It says it's not fully understood, and the symptoms vary. Symptoms that continue for more than 12 weeks. The symptoms are not, you wouldn't know them as, oh, I have a cold, or oh, I have COVID, or oh, I'm sick. You wouldn't know it by these symptoms. Extreme tiredness, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, chest pain or tightness, problems with memory and concentration, brain fog, changes to taste and smell, joint pain. Patient surveys have identified hundreds of other symptoms. A large study done by the University College London identified 200 symptoms affecting 10 organ systems. These include hallucinations, insomnia, hearing and vision changes. Oh man. Is it just me, or is the world just totally gaslighting us 24/7? Because that's what it feels like. My own shock interrupted me. I'm sorry. Short-term memory loss and speech and language issues. Yeah, bro. Hearing and vision changes. Hearing and vision changes. Hallucinations, bro. Others have reported gastrointestinal and bladder problems, changes to periods, and skin conditions. Even though I don't have long COVID, but I'm just saying, these are a lot of symptoms that a lot of people are experiencing. That's why I said, regardless of whether you've had the infection, the vax, the this, the that, I'm seeing the same amount of brain fog. The severity of symptoms varies. Some have been left unable to perform tasks like showering or remembering words. Dude, that sounds like brain damage. 5% of people who tested negative for coronavirus had at least one symptom that lasted for 3 months, compared to 3% who tested positive. Wait. So 0.5% to 3%, that's not like huge. Which makes me wonder, why are they putting these things out? Why are they putting these ideas out? You know, so they have a label for everything. We're not as scared. We're not supposed to be as scared because now they have a label for everything. And who knows? Who gets to say, oh, there's so many doctors, so many experts. It's like, no wonder people are so fucking confused. And what causes it? Well, we don't know yet. So that's like super useful. The virus getting our cells could explain some symptoms like losing smell and taste and causing damage to blood vessels. It's likely there are several different things going on in different people to cause such a wide array of problems. So, yes. So that's how they can get under this pandemic memory loss umbrella. Everyone can get under it. If you believe that's what it is. I mean, it could be that. I've never felt like this in my life before. I've never felt so dissociated. The survey asked a good chunk of people. 1.3 million people in the UK have it. This is a BBC article that I'm reading right here. Let me get on to something else. Let's talk about trauma, because everybody knows that trauma causes fragmentation. And this pandemic has been a trauma in so many ways that I can't even name them all. And we've all been affected in different ways, but we've all been affected. It affects all of us disproportionately, the stress and anxiety and the restrictions that were enforced on us, obviously, because of our different decisions and opinions. So, yes, this will affect all of us at different levels, some of us more than others, some of us not at all. Yeah, so anyway, apparently borderline personality disorder is on the rise. There's a lot of interesting things people Google along with this information. Like, some people do believe that COVID has caused personality disorders. I don't rule that out at all. Just to clarify, I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about the conditions of the pandemic. Depending on how old you are, where you are in brain development and all that. These younger kids, if you're growing up and your brain's developing, you're in isolation when you're supposed to be socializing, absolutely. But I don't know. I don't know if you can blame, as an adult, your borderline personality disorder on COVID, but you can try. We can all try. Yeah, and also, in this one article I'm reading by the Washington Post, what's shocking is how little leaders are talking about this. There's no White House briefings about it. There's no plan. Like, remember when it first came out? It was really bad. A lot of people saw a lot of things that they never thought they would see in their life. I mean, that's trauma. Being put in a situation that you are unsafe physically, mentally, and also containing you in that unsafety and unsurety for so long, at least for me, felt very scary. We all made different decisions, and so yeah, we all deal with it different. Yeah, it was really rough for me, psychologically, spiritually. Not going to exaggerate, but it killed my soul. If we don't do something about it now, people are going to be suffering from these mental health impacts for years to come, said the president of the advocacy group Mental Health America. That could further harm this economy as stress and anxiety debilitate some workers and further strain the medical system as people go to emergency rooms with panic attacks, overdoses, and depression. Absolutely true. You can't ignore these things. Just as the country took drastic steps to prevent hospitals from being overwhelmed by infections, it needs to brace for the coming wave of behavioral health needs, providing widespread mental health screenings, better access to services through telehealth, and a sizable infusion of federal dollars. I don't like this, because I'll tell you what's next. People aren't going to be going out and seeing their therapists like they did in the old days. I'm not a fan of any of these apps that you talk to a stranger and tell them your deepest emotions. They could be blackmail collectors for all I know. Fuck that. When diseases strike, they cast a shadow pandemic of psychological and societal injuries. The shadow often trails the disease by weeks, months, even years, and it receives scant attention compared with the disease, even though it too wreaks carnage, devastates families, harms, and kills. I'll include this as well as the long COVID article. So now we got 3 different sources for you to look at. So they're going through these statistics using estimations based on the Great Depression. They're saying that if unemployment rises by 20 percentage points to levels recorded during the Great Depression, suicides could increase. Suicide experts and prevention groups have deliberately refrained from discussing too widely death projections. Experts say reporting excessively or sensationally on suicide can lead to increases in suicide attempts, an effect known as contagion. And the factors involved in any suicide are often complex, they point out. I don't know about that, the contagion thing. I watched movies about that, like the Suicide Club and all that stuff. Is that really a thing? You guys, I got brain fog. I don't know how to talk even. So don't even ask me to read a book. Oh, by the way, the vertical plane, I'm going to be taking a little pause until I know what I'm going to do, because little wrench in my plan. The new book came out, which I'm happy about, but I would like to probably get one, compare it with the one that I have, and then start back up again. I don't know. Should I read it from the beginning? I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I have a friend that has it. He can compare the 2 editions. You let me know, friend, what you find, and then I'll know if it's worth purchasing another book, which it probably is, because I think it's cheap now. I think you can get it for like $20 or less on Amazon. I'm glad that they made this, and the whole time they've been warning people, please don't buy it for hundreds of dollars. Please don't do that. They do want to make it accessible, so that's cool. I'm very excited to see what the differences are and what the implications are. I'm just going to take a bit of a pause on it. I'll try to talk about some current things that are going on. I'm just very curious what other kinds of symptoms you guys are experiencing. If you want to comment, you don't have to get super personal, but I think we should normalize talking about this stuff. We need to be paying just as much attention to the fallout from the pandemic as we are to the actual COVID. List your maladies below, bro. Let's get Mal. Let's get Ms. Loves it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.